They said second season syndrome would kill this team. They said that once La Liga managers had a full year of tape on Hansi Flick's suicidal highline, the system would collapse. They said you cannot play kamikaze football for 2 years straight without burning out. And yet here we are in January 2026. If you have been watching Hansi Flick's Barcelona closely over the last 18 months, you know this isn't arrogance. It is a mathematical calculation. If you look closely at the data from last season compared to this one, something terrifying has happened. Last year, Barcelona was winning through pure chaos, winning games 4-3 or 5-2. But this season, the data from the first half of the 2025-26 campaign tells a completely different story. The average defensive line height hasn't dropped. It has actually moved higher. The chaos has been domesticated. The high line isn't just a trap anymore. It is a suffocating blanket. They are running less than in 2025, but controlling more. Flick hasn't just maintained the level, he has refined the machine. What we are witnessing right now isn't just a good run of form, it is the crystallization of a new Barcelona era. One that has finally moved on from the ghost of Lionel Messi and found a new collective identity. And the individual evolutions of players like Pedri and Raphinha are the key to unlocking it. To appreciate what is happening right now, we have to rewind to last season. The 2024-25 season, Flick's debut was a rebellion. Barcelona had become lethargic, obsessed with tiki-taka possession. Flick arrived and injected pure verticality. It was a necessary shock to the system. It worked, it was heavy metal football. Effective but volatile. We saw games where Barcelona would score 4 but concede 3. We all remember those nights in the Champions League where Barca looked like they could score 6 but concede 6. The high line was a gamble every weekend. Fast forward to today, halfway through the 25-26 season. The rebellion is over. Now it is a regime. The players aren't learning the system anymore. They are the system. The movements that looked forced last year, the vertical passes, the synchronized step-ups, are now muscle memory. The stats tell a fascinating story of maturation. Compared to Xavi's era, possession is down, but compared to Flick's first season, defensive stability is up. Why? Because the vertical tiki-taka has slowed down just a fraction. Last season, Barcelona attacked with 6 or 7 players, often leaving the centre-backs exposed in large spaces. This season, the structure in possession has evolved into a strict 2-3 or 3-2 shape at the back. So, in 2026, we see a hybrid monster. We see the German counter-pressing intensity to win the ball, but once it is won, we see flashes of the old Barcelona control returning to kill the game. They aren't just outscoring opponents anymore, they are dismantling them. The headline tactic remains the defensive line, but to call it a high line is reductive. It is a weaponized offside trap, but the psychology of it has changed. Last season, teams thought they could exploit it. They tried to spam long balls over the top. This season, opponents are scared to try. We have to talk about Íñigo Martínez, because if the 2024-25 season taught us anything, it's that he was the most undervalued player in Europe. Last season, Íñigo wasn't just a starter, he was the defensive coordinator. He played 46 games, the anchor of that breakout year. He was the voice in Pau Cubarsi's ear, the veteran who knew exactly when to step up. But he moved to Saudi League, Al Nassr club, where other legends like Ronaldo, Mane, Koeman are playing. It had become a psychological weapon. When you played against Barcelona, you spent 90 minutes looking at the linesman. It breaks the rhythm of the opponent. You could not build momentum when the whistle blows every 3 minutes. Flick had turned the offside rule into his best defender. Heading into the 2025-26 season, the plan was to phase him out. The narrative was, Araujo is the future, Christensen is the class, and Eric Garcia fits the system. Flick tried everything to replace the 34-year-old. And what happened? The experiments failed. First, they tried to reintegrate Ronald Araujo. Physically, he is a monster. But in Flick's telepathic highline, Araujo struggled. He relies on recovery pace, whereas the system demands anticipation. When Araujo steps up a fraction late, the trap breaks. We saw that disconnect early in the season. The chemistry just wasn't there. Then came the experiments with Eric Garcia and Gerard Martin. Eric has the passing, but he lacks the aerial dominance to protect the box. when the press is beaten. Gerard Martin showed promise, but he is raw. And Andreas Christensen? The tragedy of his partial ACL tear in December ended that debate before it began. Watch Pau Kubasi. His body orientation is key. He doesn't drop deep when the opponent prepares a long pass. He holds. He waits for the striker to initiate the sprint. And in that split second, the entire back four steps up in unison. Goalkeeper revolution. The most significant upgrade in Barcelona's defence this season has not been a defender. It has been the introduction of Jone Garcia. When Barcelona triggered his €25 million release clause from Espanyol, the market viewed it as a depth signing. In reality, it was a tactical correction. For a decade, Barcelona's defensive weakness was aerial balls into the box. Ter Stegen was elite with his feet but passive in the air. Jone Garcia is 1.91 metres tall and ranks in the 86th percentile for crosses stopped across Europe's top 5 leagues. This statistic is the key to the high line. Because Garcia proactively claims corners and free kicks, the centre-backs do not have to drop deep to protect the 6-yard box. His aerial command allows the entire defensive block to hold its position 5 metres higher up the pitch. The stability of this transition is due to Wojciech Szczęsny. When his initial short-term contract expired in the summer of 2025, he didn't retire. He signed a 2-year extension through 2027, accepting a specific role, the senior deputy. Szczęsny provides elite insurance. We are talking about a goalkeeper who kept 15 clean sheets in his final Juventus season. By accepting the backup role, he removes the toxicity from the goalkeeper competition. He's not fighting to steal Garcia's minutes, he is mentoring him. This dynamic mirrors the Buffon-Szczęsny relationship at Juventus, ensuring Garcia can develop without the fear of being dropped after one mistake. This leaves us with the uncomfortable reality of Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Following his ruptured patella tendon in September 2024, ter Stegen returned to training in late 2025 to find the landscape had changed. Physically, the injury has taken a toll. His explosiveness off the line, essential for a sweeper-keeper and flick system, has visibly diminished. Financially, his situation is untenable. He remains one of the highest earners at the club, yet he is effectively the third-choice goalkeeper. The club respects his legacy, but the tactical data is clear. Garcia prevents more goals per 90 minutes. The expectation is a respectful exit this summer, likely to the MLS or a return to the Bundesliga. It is a harsh end for a club legend, but Hansi Flick has proven he prioritises current output over historical status. The era of ter Stegen is over. The era of Garcia has begun. But the biggest tactical leap in 2026 is in the midfield structure. Last season it was often pure transition. Now, against low blocks, which Barca faces every week in La Liga, Flick is using a box midfield. Pedri has evolved from a roaming playmaker into a deep-lying quarterback. In Xavi's system, he was often receiving the ball with his back to goal, trying to turn in tight spaces. Under Flick, he starts deeper. He receives the ball facing forward. This allows him to dictate the tempo and launch those vertical laser passes to Raphinha and Yamal. He isn't just retaining possession, he is quarterbacking the attack. But the variable that makes this midfield truly unplayable is Frenkie de Jong. While Pedri moves the ball with passing, Frenkie moves it with his feet. He is the ball carrier. Against teams that try to man-mark Barcelona's box midfield, Frenkie is the cheat code. You cannot tactical plan for a defensive midfielder who can drop his shoulder, spin past your striker, and carry the ball 30 yards up the pitch. In 2026, Flick uses Frenkie specifically against high-pressing teams. When the opponent commits bodies forward to suffocate Casado or Pedri, Frenkie breaks the line by dribbling through it. He collapses the opponent's shape, forcing defenders to step out of position, which opens the passing lanes for everyone else. He isn't just a pivot, he is the transport mechanism that gets the ball from defence to attack. Ahead of the pivots, operating in the pockets, are the chaos agents, Fermin Lopez and Dani Olmo. Fermin is unique. He isn't a controller, he is a vertical weapon. His role in the box midfield is to act almost as a shadow striker. When Lewandowski drops deep to link play, Fermin crashes the box. His energy is the trigger for the high press in the final third. Dani Olmo offers the alternative. When the game requires surgery rather than brute force, Olmo steps in. He floats between the lines, acting as the technical glue that links the quarterback, Pedri, to the sniper, Lewandowski. But the scariest part for the rest of La Liga is what Barcelona still has in reserve. We briefly saw Marc Bernal before his injury, and let's be clear, he is the closest thing to Sergio Busquets this academy has produced in 15 years. While Casado is the engine, Bernal is the metronome. As he reintegrates this season, he gives Flick the option to play with a pure single pivot profile, allowing for even more attacking bodies forward. And then the elephant in the room, Gavi. He has been the missing soul of this team. His ACL recovery has been a long, painful road, but his return changes the tactical math again. Gavi doesn't just fit into the box. He is the box. He can play as the deep pivot who destroys attacks, or the advanced interior who crashes the penalty area. When Gavi returns to full fitness later this spring, Flick won't just have depth, he will have the most versatile midfield rotation in world football. The question isn't, where does Gavi play? The question is, who steps out to survive his intensity? This fluidity is what allows Barcelona to break down the park the bus tactics that frustrated them in the past. They aren't just crossing and hoping, they are passing through the eye of a needle in central areas. If this era has a face, it is not Ferran Torres or Lewandowski, it is Raphinha. His evolution from 2024 to 2026 is arguably the greatest coaching achievement of Hansi Flick's career. 2 years ago, Raphinha was a winger, judged solely on his dribbling. Today he is the tactical trigger for the entire team. Flick has essentially weaponized Raphinha's lungs. He plays this interior winger role where he initiates the press centrally, forcing the opponent wide into the trap. On the ball, he is no longer forcing things. His decision-making in the final third this season has been world-class. He isn't just running, he is conducting the chaos. He is the captain, not just in name, but in spirit. And Lamine Yamal, the fear was that he would burn out like Ansu Fati. Instead, he has matured. The crown jewel of the attack is, of course, Lamine Yamal. But in 2026, his game has matured from highlight reel to tactical weapon. This season, Yamal isn't trying to beat 3 players every time he gets the ball. He has learned efficiency. Flick has taught him that sometimes the best dribble is a simple pass. He has become the gravity of the team. Because opponents are so terrified of his 1 versus 1 ability that they consistently double and triple team him on the right. He creates massive space for Raphinha and Balde on the left. Even when Yamal doesn't score, he is the reason the goal happens. In 2024, Yamal would try to dribble through them. In 2026, he accepts the attention. He accepts this role. That is maturity beyond his years. By holding the ball and drawing 3 defenders to the touchline, he creates massive, underloaded space on the opposite flank for the runners. He has become the playmaker who doesn't even need to touch the ball to create space. Flick uses him as the pause button in the chaos. When the game gets too frantic, the ball goes to Yamal and time stops. But you cannot play with pause for 90 minutes. Sometimes you need pure, unadulterated speed. That is why the signing of Marcus Rashford was the masterstroke of the summer window. Rashford offers a profile that La Masia simply does not produce. He is not a controller, he is a runner. In games against highlines, like against Real Madrid or in the Champions League, Rashford is the outlet. While Yamal wants the ball to feet, Rashford wants it in space. His ability to stretch the pitch vertically forces opponents to drop their defensive line 5 yards deeper, which ironically opens up more space for Pedri and Yamal in the pockets. He is the tactical counterweight that makes the attack unpredictable. Then there is the market opportunity, Rooney Bargi. Signed as a depth option, he has become the lockpick against low blocks. While Rashford is about space, Rooney is about tight areas. He mimics the profile of Yamal, left-footed, coming off the right, but with a more direct goal-scoring instinct. Flick uses him specifically when opponents park the bus. His low centre of gravity and ability to shoot with almost zero backlift make him a nightmare in crowded penalty boxes. He proves that you don't need to spend 100 million euros to find elite depth. You just need to identify the specific profile that fits the system. And finally, the conveyor belt of La Masia never stops. Enter the latest sensation, Fernandes. If Yamal is the pause and Rashford is the pace, Fernandes is the glue. Despite his age, his interpretation of space is frightening. He operates in the half spaces, drifting between the winger and the striker, often occupying the zones that Messi used to own. Flick has been careful with his minutes, but every time he steps on the pitch, the technical level rises. He represents the future of this box midfield integration. A player who is technically a midfielder, but has the killer instinct of a forward. He is the wild card that opponents have no game plan for, simply because they haven't seen enough tape on him yet. Finally, at the tip of the spear, we have the Twilight Assassin, Robert Lewandowski. In 2026, at 37 years old, he has lost the physical capacity to press for 90 minutes. In any other system, this would be a liability. In Flick's system, it is a luxury. And Flick knows this. The role of Lewandowski this season has become pure minimalism. He is no longer asked to link play at the halfway line or chase fullbacks into the corner. He is the reference point. The team presses around him. Yamal, Raphinha and Firmino do the running, so that Lewandowski can conserve every ounce of energy for the penalty box. The team carries him defensively, pressing around him, so that he can save every ounce of energy for that split second when the cross comes in. It is a symbiotic relationship. The young legs run for him. He scores for them. He is the sniper. He touches the ball less than ever before, but his touches inside the box are lethal. But when the game requires entropy rather than surgery, Flick turns to the shark. Ferran Torres remains the most polarising player in the squad, but tactically, he is indispensable. If Lewandowski is order, Ferran is chaos. Flick uses him specifically to break rigid defensive structures. Ferran doesn't play as a static number 9, he is a space eater. He constantly makes diagonal runs that drag centre-backs out of position, creating lanes for the midfielders to crash into. His finishing remains a coin flip. We all know the frustration of watching him miss a sitter only to score a worldie 5 minutes later. But his mental resilience is elite. He offers a relentless pressing intensity that Lewandowski simply cannot match anymore. When Barcelona needs to turn a game into a street fight, Ferran is the first name on the team sheet. This rotation is the secret to their longevity this season. Flick doesn't just swap players, he swaps game models. He starts with the sniper to control the game, and finishes with the shark to kill the opponent's legs. It is the perfect good cop, bad cop routine at the top of the pitch. However, we cannot pretend this team is invincible. As we head into the business end of the season, the Champions League knockouts, the old fears remain. The glass cannon effect hasn't disappeared. It has just been hidden. Against elite transition teams, teams like Liverpool or Real Madrid, that high line is still a gamble. If the press is broken just once, Araujo and Kubasi are left in a foot race they might not win. And there is the reliance on youth. Gavi, Pedri, Balde, Kubasi, Yamal. The core of this team is still incredibly young. In the pressure cooker of a UCL semi-final, will the lack of experience cost them? Will the German discipline hold when the Camp Nou gets nervous? The other cracks are in the depth. We are in January. Legs are getting heavy. While the starting point is world class, an injury to Raphinha or Kubasi changes the entire system. Flick's system requires 100% physical intensity. If the backups play at 90%, the system breaks. The next 4 months will be a test of the medical department as much as the tactical one. The story of this 2026 Barcelona team is not a fairy tale. It is a cautionary tale for the rest of Europe. It is the story of a manager who dared to bury the dogmas of the past, to save the very soul of the club. The chaos of the rebellion is gone. The financial scars remain, but the focus on the pitch is absolute. The question now shifts from, can they compete, to, can anyone stop them? They were the fallen dynasty. They were the debt-ridden relic. Now under the pragmatic, uncompromising doctrine of Hansi Flick. They are a terrifying contradiction. A team that cherishes the Cruyffian ball, but wields it with German tactical steel. The glass cannon has been armoured. The high line is no longer a gamble. It is a stranglehold. The great European nightmare has returned. Barcelona is scary again, and the rest of the football world must prepare for a terrifying reign. But now we turn the question to you. Has Hansi Flick created the most dangerous tactical machine in Europe? Or is this system still too reliant on that razor-thin offside trap? Let us know in the comments below. Do you think this Barcelona squad has the defensive stability to survive a Champions League final against elite speed? And tell us which player, Yamal, Raphinha, or the sniper Lewandowski, you believe is the true centrepiece of Flick's fury. And if you don't want to miss our next massive breakdown, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. The era of dominance is just beginning.